to the Metal Command Podcast.
Coming up next here on the Metal Command Podcast, I have a great interview with guitar player Dominik Sebastian from the band Sirius Black. Sirius Black, of course, put out a really, really good new album. This interview was a lot of fun. Dominik is a really cool guy, and you could definitely get this new album out on AFM Records. So with that said, if you like what you see in here on this podcast, by all means, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video. And if you are following me on any other form of social media, please give me a like and a follow there. So with that said, here is the interview with myself and Dominik Sebastian from Sirius Black. Welcome, everybody, to the Metal Command Podcast. Tony here with you, and today I bring Dominik from the band Sirius Black. New album coming out this month, and this is a band I followed since the very beginning, and pretty excited to talk about this new album, which I think is very good. And Dominik, welcome to the show.
Hi all together, nice to meet you, nice to see you here. I'm Dominik Sebastian from Sirius Black from Austria. I'm the Austrian guy in the band, normally set up in Germany with a Serbian singer, but I'm the Austrian.
No, I got you. So you have a new album coming out. Let's talk about that. Talk about the upcoming album that's coming out. I think it's very good. I think it's better than the last one you put out. And
Thank you so much.
Talk about this new record.
Well, it's our celebration year of 10 years, Sirius Black. So we decided to bring out one of our favorite songs and to give it a new life. It's one of our song of our first record of As Daylight Breaks was Akhenaton. Mm-hmm. And so we named the new album Rise of Akhenaton, in comparison or in to rise it again, to the spirit of the first album where we started 10 years ago. And so that's for the concept of the album so far, not the concept of the album, but of the cover artwork. And of course, of one song we named, of course, Rise of Akhenaton as well. And it's celebration year. So and we focus on also to go back to the roots. We started already with Vengeance is Mine to go back to the roots, to play more power metal again and not too much prog rock stuff like this. Mm-hmm. But more focus on the songs, on the essence of the songs, on the hook lines, on the and bring it to the point very early. Not the toppings come later, So there is still some things for musicians as well to hear out. But that's so far from how we went to the concept of creating Rise of Akhenaton.
Gotcha. And you kind of went back in that direction on the last album, obviously. But I think this one's a little bit more of a progression because you had a pretty big lineup change. You had to change. Obviously, you ended up getting a different singer. And sometimes even though you make a record, which I thought the last album was pretty solid, even though you make an album, the longer you work with this person, the more you get to know them. And the better it is, the easier it becomes to be able to write songs with that individual. So going from the previous album to this one, I think there was a nice progression of musically, and maybe talk a bit about that.
Yeah, that's because you named it, because of learning the people in the band better. On the last record, Vengeance is Mine, we get to learn about the new singer of Nikola Micic, and the songs were already done so far by us instrumentally, and he had to join after that. So for Rise of Akhenaton, we already worked together with him. We now know what his range, what his skills are, so we can exactly focus on those to create the songs for him. So not to just have a singer on a certain song, but to have a song for the singer, and that's, I think, it's the main reason for the progress for Rise of Akhenaton.
Yeah, absolutely. Was it difficult to look for a new singer to replace Urban Breed in a band who obviously did a fantastic job, and then you have to go and replace him?
That
How
was
difficult was it?
that was a main challenge, because we didn't search officially in public, but we searched around in the music industry, so behind the curtains, so to speak. And there are not too much singers in the world who can reach the level on which Urban Breed already was, or now Nikola Micic, and on top is interested and is free so far to join a band with many tourings and festival playings and stuff like that. There are a handful, I think, and for this we had to search for the right, the needle in the hay,
Needle in the haystack.
Haystack. Thanks you. So that was quite a challenge indeed.
Yeah, and yeah, it is for stuff like for a band like this, because you got to have somebody that's really into the music. The music business itself is not very friendly. It's not very artist friendly. Let's put it that way. And then you got to find someone that has the vocal capability. So that could be difficult. Depending on what kind of music that you're making. And so far, it's like I listened to. I remember when the debut album came out, and the band has evolved a lot since then. But yeah, it was. You're right. It was more of a power metal sound on the first album. You had, the first album, you had Roland Grappo helping you out a little bit, who's I've known personally for a very long time. Really, really good dude. But again, you were doing the more power metal thing, and you kind of got into the more prog, which might be because Urban was in the band, or
Absolutely.
So you're going back into the same direction. It's kind of like, okay, we got to find someone to fit this role, and it's very difficult to do that. So personally, like I said, the new album, from the cover to the songwriting is just great. So speaking of that, you talked a little bit about naming it after, one of the songs on the first album. Is the album like a concept album, like surrounding, the album title? Or is it just more or less, you just named it after the first song and there is no concept?
There is no concept. We did certain concept albums in the past. The last one was one of those. It had two concepts, Vengeance is Mine, but Sweet 226 was a completely concept album, mainly written by Urban, of course. And for now, we didn't want to have another concept album, and we just named it because of one of our favorite songs and most popular songs of As Daylight Breaks. It's also one of the songs we almost played on every single live show we did.
Yeah.
So it's the intro, Temple of the Sun and Akhenaton, they belong together. It's our intro for the shows, and the first song almost ever. So, and it's an iconic figure, Akhenaton, and it's a remembrance. So we named the album just for that. The song itself, it's quite different of all the other songs on the new album, because it has this Phrygian style and Orientalic melodies and stuff like that. And the rest of the album has nothing to do with that. So the other songs, they handle about, talk about different things, what happens in the world, and about the death of Mario's father in the last period of time, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Altogether, different things. We have, of course, we have our own meaning to each song, but we don't want to point that too much, because every person has another idea of the meaning of the songs. So I want to keep the people to have their own fantasy of the meaning of the songs.
Right.
It might be that Maurus has a certain idea of thinking of a certain song, and I have a completely different one. So,
Yeah.
and it's like in the arts, in the painting arts. The one sees something, the other one sees something else.
Right. How did
So
this
no
whole thing
concept.
right? How did this whole thing come together? How did you meet Mario? And obviously both of you were playing in a lot of different bands over the years before forming this band 10 years ago. And how did this all come together? Because you end up getting Urban Breed, who's a pretty well-known singer. Roland Grappa was kind of involved a little bit for the first record. You meet Mario. How did this whole band come together?
Yeah, that was a funny thing, I would say. So I was playing in a band called Eden Bridge the last years, about 12 years or something. And I got introduced to Mario back in the days when he was the sound engineer for us at the Wave Gothic meeting at it was in Germany, and there we got introduced together. Later on, I recorded in his studio with him for different other bands, stuff like metal things, and so we got to get known each other more and more. And on one day, there I have to step in. In the meantime, Mario was also the tour manager for Masterplan, and of course with Roland Grappo, And one day he asked Roland if he was interested in founding a band with various more or less well-known people inside, like a super group, name it. Yeah, I'm not that big in that time anyway. So I was very pleased that one day when he asked me, when we recorded some stuff in his studio, if I wanted to join with Roland Grappo and Mario. And then we searched for different other people, like Roman Stauch was in, a former drummer of Blind Guardian. And then it all came together more or less. We created the songs so far, and in the end, Urban Breed joined. I don't know exactly how this happened because I wasn't that much involved in that. But anyway, he did a fabulous job, and so it came all together so far. Unfortunately, Roland and Toman couldn't do the first tourings, and so we split apart with those people and found different other great musicians to step in. So it was then Rami Ali and Bob Cazionis on guitars, and also keyboards in studio, of course. So that's the early beginning of the band.
Yeah,
I didn't forget anything important.
No, I gotcha. I mean, I'm sure Roland is a studio now, so he's probably busy doing a lot of that kind of stuff as well. Yeah. So you mentioned Mario being Masterplan's tour manager. So, from what I'm told, Mario is a pretty hardworking individual. He's doing a lot of things. He's doing sound. He manages the band basically. Do you think? Let's put it this way: the music business is a much tougher thing to be involved with now than say it was 10 years ago. Has he always done this, or is it has it made it easier for the band for him to take on a lot of these roles? Because from what I understand, what I'm told, this guy is super hardworking individual, and
Yeah.
from what I'm told, he likes doing this stuff. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like a matter of, hey, I have to do it. The guy
No.
likes doing it. You know,
No.
talk about working with him and what he does for the band.
Yeah. Yeah. He lives for that. You know, he always did. So he's always been a tour manager for different really big bands as well,
Mm-hmm.
and doing studio jobs and booking and stuff like that. Of course, with leading and his own band, he is the main former of the band. Of course, I'm just the one left over from the beginning. So he, without him, the band wouldn't be there where we stand now.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
He's such a hardworking guy, and we always tell him to step back a bit once in a time, because burn out things, they are not easy things to handle with, or heart attack or something like that. So it's too little sleep. He we I have to say he's we're just preparing for the tour starting tomorrow, and he's really looking forward to it, because normally then he gets some more sleep as normally in this period of time, preparing everything and holding everything together. So
Right.
I don't want to change with him. No way.
No, I gotcha. And again, you know, there are people that take on those roles
Yeah.
that do it not because they want to do it, but they do it because they have to. But
Yeah.
it seems like this guy likes doing this.
Yeah.
And so that actually makes things a little better, because you're not doing it out of necessity, even though it is a necessary evil to have to take on those roles. Again, this guy's doing it because he likes and has a passion for it, which I think is really cool.
Absolutely.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up a little bit.
Mhm.
So you do have a tour coming up. You know, talk a little bit about where you're going to be going, and talk about maybe some of the places that you guys are going to be playing.
Well, we are pleased to support Sonata Arctica from Finland,
Mm-hmm.
as main actor there on their European tour, which leads us from Scandinavia to Spain to Poland and throughout Germany and stuff. So all Middle Europe, so to speak. A special guest, there will be Firewind. You may know Gus G from Ozzy Osbourne, and Firewind, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And we doing the opener slot. In Scandinavia, there's one band more. There's Tungsten, which contains members of former Hammerfall. And we're very pleased to have the opportunity to go with them on tour 1 month on the tour bus. Yeah, we're bleeding for it.
Has it been difficult to get shows due to, you know, the financial crisis? I guess a lot of, you know, the music business itself has been under.
Absolutely hard. So we have to to play our asses off to finance in the end everything. It depends, of course, on the audience, how we perform, how the audience is able to bring out or to buy some merchandise, because that's the living of a band.
Yep.
And to buy pre-sale tickets. That's the most important thing these days, because of the promoters. The whole system is built on thin ice. So if the pre-sales are not good enough, the promoters get cold feet. We say cold feet they get.
Yep.
And better cancel before hoping for some sales on the how is Abendkasse box office, on the box office, and yeah, we hope the best. So far, I know the pre-sales are not bad. Of course, Sonata Arctica is not a small band, so I think we will manage it more or less.
Yeah. In the pre-sales, a big thing, and it's hard because there's so many bands out there trying to tour at the same time, and it becomes, if you get, a lot of times people don't even know what band they're going to see. They may think last minute.
Yeah.
You may, let's say the venue holds 1,000 people. You might have 500 tickets sold,
Yeah.
and then you may not have anywhere close. And you may not have any more than that, or you could get you can get a walk up, and then then you realize, man, I could have sold 2,000. So it's like a gamble.
Yeah,
to,
absolutely. Yeah.
To do that, and you have the cost of a tour bus and or a van, depending on what you're touring in. The cost of everything is just so high, and it's a very, very high risk. It's a much higher risk business than it used to be.
Yes, absolutely. And well, I'm glad I'm not a promoter.
Yeah.
So I don't want to change with them. But if you want, when you said you could have sold 2,000 or something, for me, I find it better to shout out to have a sold out concert than to book a bigger venue with just a quarter of
Right.
audience inside. So better have a sold out show and come earlier back again for another show, for a headline show.
Has that happened? Like you guys maybe have expected like 400 or 500 people, then you get like, you have like 1,500 show up, and not everybody can get into the venue. Obviously, has that happened at a few shows that you've been at?
No, not on us, not on us yet.
Right.
We're still in building up. Well, there was some, of course, 3 years are almost gone, the Corona years, so this comes on top for certain issues.
Yeah.
And but now for us, this tour, the support tour, is important to promote the new album, to get a hopefully good how do you say it, a chart entry in Germany at least.
Yeah.
To work on that, to put this on and then next year we are planning already a headliner tour throughout Europe again. So then we will come nearby some of the audiences or towns of this tour, and then we hope to get those people again, that we win some more fans on the support tours, to get them then later on our own shows again.
Right.
So that's why we're doing that.
Do you get a lot of response from people in the United States? I say that because power metal is very hit or miss here. Some people, it's never like taken off, to a point where it has this huge fan base in the United States. I'm just curious, like, do you get anybody from the US that you ever get any kind of response from?
Yes. Yeah. We have certain fans who are writing us on Facebook or Instagram or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't tour in US so far. We just did one time Rock Power in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we did some Mexican shows with Hammerfall back in the days, but not the US. So, of course, this would help to, not for a headlining show, but go on tour, support tour with a bigger band, well-known band in the US to get the step in the US.
Yeah.
So for now, it makes no sense to come over. But we do have fans who really liked to have us there at your place. And of course, it's a dream to tour US one time. So
Yeah.
I hope one day it will happen.
Yeah. You mentioned the Corona thing, and you guys put we put Sweet 226 out, in 2020. And, that was a pretty crazy time for musicians. And how much do you feel that may have held back the band a little bit, maybe hurt the band? And I know it hurt everybody. It had a different effect in every band out there. And how did it affect you guys? Because I remember Sirius Black really kind of making, really kind of getting more and more, popular as far as, getting more well known. The albums, obviously were progressing quite well. And then all that happens. And then not only do you put that album out, but, you lost your singer right after that. So you had a lot of crazy stuff happen during that time period. How did it affect you guys?
Oh, well, the album came out, and it was not the great it did not have the great effect we expected from the album successfully. So the ranking of the chart places entry was not that bad, not that good like the other albums before.
Yeah.
And of course, then we just have been on tour with Hammerfall again, I think, and we knew already something's coming over. You had some feeling, weird feeling, and we didn't know if we could end the whole tour or if we had to cancel the last 5 shows or something.
Yeah.
So it was kind of we came home and literally the next day it was locked down.
Yeah.
So that threw us back. We couldn't really promote the new album Sweet 226. We couldn't go on our headliner tour, which was already planned to support the album, to get a better amount and get increasing the fan base and stuff like that. So that threw us back. For me personally, it was a weird time as well, because in 2019, I decided to get self-employed for being just there for music, because of, it was too much for having a full-time job and going on tour and stuff like that. And then everything broke up.
Yeah.
So it was extremely hard for me to get money from anywhere,
Yeah.
So, but it helped in a way that everything was coming down, and that almost everyone had the opportunity to focus on what it's really all about, to rethink certain things that helped. Well, nowadays it's all lost again, I think. There's nothing anymore, no remembrance of those years. But that in a way it helped for some reason. But for the music industry and for some bands, many bands just quit, split up, and because they couldn't afford anything anymore.
Yeah.
And you didn't know how long it would last. We always rescheduled our headlining tour and always had to reschedule it. And we were then in when was it? 2022, I think, or 3. We were one of the first bands who risked to get out on tour again. Bigger bands canceled a week before they should go on tour throughout Europe, at least.
Yeah.
Also from America, because the pre-sales were bad and the flights were too high, the costs of the flights and stuff like that. And the promoters got their cold feet and canceled everything. And we were one of the bands who took the step and went out. And at least we handled to come out on a zero. We didn't do much, but we didn't do too much minus on the account.
No, I gotcha. Yeah.
It was very, very risky, and it was also not so good. Not too much people, of course. They all had their thoughts of it, their issues and stuff like that. Had to cancel, had to whatever. So, but we pushed it through, and for that we got certain applause from the music industry,
right,
which helped our name to rise again, I think. So now we hope to earn the fruits in near future for this step, because of this step, maybe.
Yeah, you talked about being self-employed. I mean, basically, self-employed in music means you're the last one to be able to go to work after everything opened up.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So,
do you like? Are you like a producer? Are you like?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
That's more or less a problem. Of course, I'm not a producer. I'm not a sound guy. I'm and those years have shown me that I have to spread my tentacles more and more aside the music business.
Yeah.
So I had, of course, a job at one of our bigger venues in Linz, where I live, or for stagehand and building up the stages and stuff like that. And this also broke away. And so I knew I have to get outside the music business for having some job which will always be able to be there, more or less.
Yeah.
So I have certain jobs nearby which I also can handle with my time schedule, so that they ask me, do I have time? And I say yes or no. And that helps a lot. So for now, I'm quite, I'm good. I'm good with that. And of course, a big help is my girlfriend, of course, who has a normal job and earns good amount. So it all works out for us. So it's always good to have some backup again.
Yeah. Oh no, I gotcha. So I got one last question for you. Dominik, I do appreciate your time coming on the show, talking about the upcoming album, which I think is very, very good.
Thank you.
Any last words for anybody that's going to be watching and listening to this interview?
Well, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure to meeting you, Tony. Thank you so much. Support your bands, your local bands as well. You won't come to our shows so far, I think, but once in a time, I think we handle that as well. So thank you for having me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Whatever. Buy our records. Support us if you like the music. Support your local heroes. Stay the music business alive. Help it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Metal Command podcast. If you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video. And of course, if you are following me on any other form of social media, by all means, give me a like and a follow there. Thanks for watching. Stay metal.